Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today, well, let's just say today is Throat Punch Thursday.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Who's ready?
It's Throat Punch Thursday, bitch.
That's right, it's Throat Punch Thursday, and well, Mike didn't get throat punched, but let's just say Mike is dealing with another he's dealing with another issue, shall we say. So he will be with us shortly. Looking forward to having him back on the program. But I'm here, you're here, and until Mike gets here, it's just us together. So we're going to have a good old time. So let's go ahead and get it kicked off the way we usually do. And you know how we usually start it, with a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with the folks over at Hitman Industries. Now, Hitman Industries makes rifle and pistol caliber barrels. They are available for you to purchase at any length. All you have to do is go to hitmanindustries.net and check them out. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly, working to help elect conservatives at all levels of government, from school board all the way to President of the United States. Ronald Reagan once referred to CRA as the conscience of the Republican Party. You need to find out why. It's real easy to do it. All you have to do is go to cragop.org. That's cragop.org, and check them out today. Then we've got the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market at hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. They like helping Americans wear guns. How much? Well, they like it so much, they're willing to give you a nifty little discount if you use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there. And you will get you a nice little discount on us. And then finally, we've got the place where you can find all things tactical except the gun, and that would be at uscombatgear.com. They specialize in group sales, so you need to get your group together, get your agency together, get your friends together. Man, get there, get on there, and get purchase from them now. They have a huge selection. They have competitive pricing on just about everything, and they got really great customer service. And the best way to find out is to actually order something from them. Once again, it's uscombatgear.com, the place where you can find all things tactical except the gun. All right. Also want to remind you, if you are watching the program live, that is 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching the show live, that means we're taking, if you're watching the show during that time, you're watching the show live, which means we're taking your comments. We would love to hear what you have to say. Just go ahead and comment. I'm watching your comments right over here. And if I find it to be interesting, I will share it. Things that are interesting. Hey, the fact that you're watching, how long you've been watching, what you think of the program, where you're watching it from. And tell you what's really interesting, it's great if you agree with us, but it's even more interesting if you disagree with us, because then, well, that gives us the opportunity to mock you.
Oh, wow, is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
As Mike would say, we will mock you. In any case, folks, we're going to go ahead and get into the program. I'm sure that Mike will be joining us at some time during the program. This first one here, once again, being from California, you know, these things kind of stand out. And the reason why these things stand out is because, well, California is where, I hate to say this, it's where all really, really bad left-wing ideas originate, right? That just happens to be who California is. We just happen to have the worst of the worst when it comes to left-wing lunacy, unfortunately. Anyway, having said that, the Department of Justice has just announced, or at least put out the information that, well, they have some issues with our friends over at UCLA, and their problem is with the fact that their medical school in particular, well, they're discriminating on the basis of race. And this is, once again, now the interesting thing about this, so the story that I'm using is from the Washington Free Beacon, and actually where the initial investigation was done, how they found out, what made them decide to open this investigation, or at least open the investigation to find out, well, it has to do with the fact that the Washington Free Beacon, well, they did a report, which, by the way, just goes to show you, you need to make sure you're subscribed to the Washington Free Beacon. Anyway, let me read a little bit of the story here. It says here, the Department of Justice said on Wednesday that an investigation into University of California, Los Angeles Medical School found the school's administration's process unlawfully discriminates based on race. The announcement came as the department released the results of a year-long probe sparked by a Washington Free Beacon report based on a whistleblower's accounts. The whistleblower said the admissions committee was engaging in egregious race discrimination and that concerns about the practices had been raised internally and systematically ignored. We want diversity so badly we're willing to cut corners to get it, a former member of the admissions staff told the Free Beacon at the time. The Justice Department probe uncovered additional evidence of unlawful discrimination, including emails between administrators who brainstormed ways to get around the Supreme Court's 2023 decision striking down affirmative action in higher education. Quote, UCLA's admissions process has been focused on racial demographics at the expense of merit and excellence, allowing racial politics to distract the school from the vital work of training great doctors. Harmeet Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General for the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division, said in a press release, quote, racism in admissions is both illegal and un-American, and this department will not allow it to continue. Now, Mike, the interesting thing about this is that this is actually straight up forbidden by California law. This is forbidden. And yet they decided they're going to break even California law. And I'm wondering if California Department of Justice is going to get involved and go after these folks.
Oh, listen, the California DOJ will be involved, but it's going to be as the defendant, Craig. They're not going to be standing up for anybody's conservative, constitutional rights anytime soon. This is the same thing that we talked about yesterday with, Justice Jackson, right? The former president wants the best black female lawyer. Well, Craig, we made the example of give me the best black female heart surgeon. No, I want the best freaking surgeon, right? This is what they've done, Craig. This is they've said we're going to help promote these races and make them better because we feel sorry what my ancestors may or may not have done 170 years ago to them. So we're going to allow them to continue to be get improved standing in the application process.
But Mike, now, do we really want a female heart surgeon? I mean, she might just break your heart.
She what?
She might just break your heart. So maybe you just want a male surgeon.
Well, yeah, I could.
But what's funny about this, Mike, is now keep in mind, Prop 209 has been in existence in California for well over a decade. And this sort of discrimination is already outlawed under California law.
Yes.
And they've done nothing about it. Now we're finding out that it's actually happening when you got whistleblowers. I'm wondering if these whistleblowers told anybody in the California DOJ. If they did, I wonder if anything happened. I doubt that it did. I know. In fact, I know it didn't happen because otherwise we wouldn't be finding this out now. So I'm wondering to what degree the California Department of Justice needs to be held accountable for not doing their job.
Two things. One, they were absolutely told. Two, they did nothing about it. Listen, it is up to the individual. It is up to the individual agency to decide if they want to press charges or not. Now, can they? Is this something that affected the immediate threat to citizenry? No, so they'll probably get away with it. They'll call it a political decision, or
it all depends. If you were an Asian or a white male straight Christian student who was a medical student who applied to UCLA medical school and didn't get in, this immediately affected you.
Well, an immediate threat, because that's what they're going to base it on, right? Yeah. Whether it's like letting the murderers off of death row. There's a threat to somebody, as opposed to not enforcing parking tickets. That kind of thing. So
okay, all right. We're talking physical threat.
Physical threat,
not just a violation of one's civil rights.
Correct. Yeah, they're just going to call those policy decisions. Yeah.
There you go. Those are just policy decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is, man. the point is that, and this is the thing I will continue to say about the left. When I'm talking about the left, I'm talking about academia, I'm talking about mainstream media, I'm talking about Democrats and Democratic politicians. I'm talking about the entertainment industry. They only care about the law and the Constitution when it's on their side, which, by the way, is rarely the case. And in this particular case, they ignored California law, they ignored federal law, and they just said, look, we're gonna do what we want to do, and the law, we don't care about the law, and that's how they're living their life.
Yeah. Craig, listen. Speaking of the entertainment industry, I tuned in a few minutes late. I noticed you're wearing your head accoutrement there.
I decided I wanted to wear it because I wanted to bring it up. So I wore this hat.
Wait, hold on. I'm in the middle of my story.
You were in the middle of your story. Go ahead.
Listen, I can only assume that the movie you wrote is getting picked up.
Not yet.
No.
No.
Should we tell the folks about it? About your movie?
No, we should not, because I'm sure you've got no. It's this no. I did not write a movie, not the movie he's thinking about. Not the movie.
A movie you wrote and you want to star in and direct. Yeah, it's like your Sylvester Stallone.
Mike has a completely and utterly inappropriate joke waiting. No.
Oh, all right.
No.
Okay. I'll leave it alone. Yeah.
Anyway, look, slide into his DM. He'll tell you the joke. There you go. He's like, slide into my DM. I'll tell you. But anyway. No, I decided to wear the hat because I'm like, look, I got a lot of compliments on wearing the hat. Right? I got at both at NRA and people who saw pictures from NRA, and I was like, maybe I should start making the cowboy hat a regular thing. So I figured I'd give the audience an opportunity to chime in. What do y'all think? Should the cowboy hat become a regular thing? And I'm starting to wear a few more hats because the brother's hair in the back is starting to thin a little bit, and I got to protect my scalp from the sun. And so I don't always want to wear baseball caps, so wearing a cowboy hat instead helps. Yeah, I know. That's both between the Italian and the Polish in you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For those of you who are just listening to the program, Mike is subtly showing off the fact that he's got a full head of hair.
I get about 97% of my original hair, I would say. Yeah.
Well, if you add in the hair that's growing in your nose and in your ears, yeah. If I add that in, I've got as much hair as I've always had.
Can you connect them yet?
No, I cannot connect them yet. But have you ever been like in the mirror and you're all of a sudden you see this one hair that's like sticking like way out from your ear, and you're wondering, how did that thing get that long and I did not notice?
That's because of your eyes. Because you're old.
There you go. Maybe I should say, when I shave, maybe I should start wearing my glasses.
Yeah. It's not that your hairs are getting longer. It's that your eyes are getting worse.
My eyes are getting worse. Hey, by the way, American Crossfair is saying, "What's up?" Anyway, back to this story. But yeah, so here's the thing, folks, and I'm sure Mike 100% agrees with me. If you discriminate based on race, that's racist. I don't care what it is. I mean, I get the idea. Okay, so you have underrepresented groups and populations, and so maybe you want to spend some energy promoting something in order to encourage people to get involved in it. I think marketing and promotion to a certain degree is a little different, only because sometimes they may not know or believe that that's an opportunity for them. But having said that, I don't think that you should lower standards. I don't think that you should make slots available just for specific groups. I think you need to make it because number one, it doesn't help your program, because by lowering standards in order for them to get in, especially medical school, that means you have substandard doctors. You have doctors who are obviously at a lower quality than otherwise would have been. So,
I get an idea, Craig.
Yeah.
I get an idea. All of the military service academies do this, all right? Now, they don't do the discrimination, right? But say you get students that apply to go to these service academies and they meet all the other criteria, but perhaps they're academic is not where it should be, or perhaps they've been in the military for a couple of years and they haven't
Right.
cracked a book open in a couple of years. They have a year in front of that called the preparatory schools, preparatory academies. So it's 1 year that you go to before you go to a service academy to learn the basics all over again. That way, when you start off the next year, you're at the same level. So why not do that with these people that, and these people, I mean, anybody that doesn't test to a certain standard, you offer them 1 additional year of college to get to the standard you need to be. And if you pass at the end of this year, we'll guarantee you admission next year.
Well, but see, Mike, the problem is sometimes it's not so much that they're not at the admission standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's that the other people that they're competing with, like, they may barely meet the standard, and the person they're competing against, so this may be the Latina female, but the person they're competing against, the Asian male or the white male, may be here, right? So they may meet the minimum qualifications, but they're not at the level of this person. Now, the idea of creating opportunities and ways in which people who are not meeting that standard to be able to go meet that, get to the point where they meet that standard, that's what we need to be talking about. That's how you create real opportunity or equality of opportunity, as opposed to trying to force an equality of outcome. Because the only way
the goal is to graduate as many people as you enroll, right? You want them all to be successful. That's the goal. Listen, if they don't meet the standard, you're not going to do that. But Craig, if let's say that you got somebody with a 3.5 average, as opposed to these, like you said, these wonder kids that come in with a 6.0 on a 4.0 scale, which shouldn't be legal, by the way. 4.0 and 4.0, that's what it means. But let's say they're a little bit lower on their academia. Okay, let's do this. Put them in there for a year. If they do great the whole year, then they're a pretty good candidate for graduating, because they can go to school for a year and do what they're supposed to do. And then let them come in with the kids with the 6.0 average, because those kids are still an unknown. You don't know how they're going to last in college, but these other ones have now proven themselves for a year in prep school.
Well, anything is fair is better than what they're doing now, which is one of the things when we got rid of, supposedly got rid of affirmative action in California. Evidently, some folks are still doing it. But we actually saw a dramatic increase in graduation rates amongst students of color, amongst Black students and Latino students, because the students who were getting accepted were actually a better match, right? A lot of the people who otherwise wouldn't have gotten into like a UCLA, it wasn't that they couldn't stand medical school. It was that UCLA medical school was probably too hard, wasn't a good match for them. They weren't at that academic level. Going to a different school where they learned at a different pace actually would work better for them and increase the likelihood that they would graduate.
Right, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Thomas Sowell writes a lot about it. About the biggest issue isn't so much that a lot of these kids aren't able to graduate eventually, but the problem is that the programs that they're getting, they're being mismatched. In other words, they're not really qualified or ready to be a part of that program. And I've used this example before. Like, I like playing rec league basketball. When I go into play, when I sign up for a team, I'm usually on the C League team, right? Those are the guys who are old. They tend to be a little older, guys who are, they barely qualify as weekend warriors. I mean, we can run, but we're not superstar NBA college level players. To force me on a team like the A-League team, I mean, these are guys who, some of them played semi-pro, some of them played college ball. They're like average 6'3". I mean, average. To force me to be able to compete with them, I mean, I got 5 fouls. That's it. That's all I got. 5 fouls and I'm out of the game. But that's it. It makes no sense to force people who are not prepared, who can play basketball but just can't play it at that level, to compete with people who are, or be in the same league with people who are clearly more prepared to be there.
Yeah, you obviously need to be playing down at the YWCA with your game.
No, I ain't playing at the YWCA, man. They're a little rough.
That get you, dog? That get you?
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You look, I have played with some female basketball players, especially the larger ones, the ones who are about my height. Now, I may still have them in body weight, but they are rough. They got no qualms about throwing an elbow right in your chops.
Them girls got some long arms too. I mean, you get like 6 feet tall. That girl she can hit you. She can reach out and smack you. You just bang it.
Anyway, but yeah, so I'm glad to see once again that the DOJ is doing this. I'm glad to see Harmeet Dillon, who is my favorite person in the U.S. Department of Justice. I'm still hoping she becomes the permanent attorney general. Harmeet, look, bruh's here. I know I ain't an attorney, but I could use a job.
Oh, in California. In California.
Oh, well, I'll travel back and forth to DC.
Oh, okay.
Look,
Gotcha. All right.
I
Okay.
want to be a part of that firearms bureau. Because I'm like this. I know where the bodies are buried. Like, I can tell you, look, you need to sue them. You need to sue them. You need to sue them. And look, I'll run all your press conferences. Trust me, we will make them look bad. Just hook a brother up.
Can you do like Scott Jennings level?
I'm Scott Jennings of gun rights. How about that?
Stephen Miller, Scott Jennings, could get that level?
Yes.
Get that level on him?
No,
Okay.
I'm better than Stephen Miller. Scott Jennings is what I like about Scott Jennings is he's experienced at taking on the left. Stephen Miller doesn't know how to deal with the left. He's very, very smart, and he's right on almost all the points that he makes. But there's a certain
Je ne sais quoi.
a certain humor and smoothness that you need to have without coming across as an angry white guy that he just doesn't have. Stephen Miller just doesn't have it. Scott Jennings has it. Scott Jennings has how would the brother put it?
Swagger.
There you go. He's got the swagger to be like, man, what the F is wrong with you? Let me tell you something.
Get your hand out of my damn face.
get your effing hand out of my face. Yeah, he kind of lost it at that ball. I was like, I get his point. What he should have done was caught himself and say, you know what? Normally when people put their hand in my face like that, that's a sign that they need to get slapped. So you need to keep your hands down.
Yeah, see, I took that comment as him saying, why do we have a 12-year-old on the show? What's going on? Why is he here?
No, I know. Dude was anyway, but Scott Jennings overstepped on that. And I wish he would just admit, yeah, okay, I overstepped a little bit on that with that comment. Now, I just think that if they get rid of him, it ruins their credibility because, quite frankly, he's the most effective conservative voice on CNN.
Correct. They're not going to get rid of him. He's the only reason anyone's watching that.
But real quick, y'all, CNN. If you need to get rid of him, I'll take his place.
Yeah,
you ain't gonna like it. You ain't gonna like it though, because I'm gonna clown you folks. He's a lot nicer than I would be.
Yeah. Yeah, Craig specializes in the clowns, so it's good.
There you go. I've run a circus before.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. This next story is a statement of the obvious. UNRWA. How many of y'all raise your hand if you have heard of UNRWA? Yep. Kind of figured. Well, UNRWA, let's just say they are a favorite of the UN, of the left-wing organizations when it comes to providing information, resources, study, and community aid there in what's the word I'm looking for? In Gaza, in the Middle East, right? Let's read a bit here. But four of their staff, including teachers, were found to have actually kidnapped Israelis on October 7th. And I actually, let's see here. I think did I upload the video? Okay, here. Hold on a second. I actually have video. They actually shared video that they had that someone had captured of them actually kidnapping somebody. Okay, here it is right here. So here's the video. And you'll see there's a guy just pulled up, getting ready to get out of the car. All right, now they're identifying this guy in the car. So now they're going around to the back. He's going around to the back of the car. And here comes some folks. They're actually kidnapping. It's some imagery for those of you who are just listening. Or them actually picking somebody up, kidnapping them, and throwing them in the back of a vehicle. And these are people who've been identified to be staff of UNRWA. All right, let's read a little bit of the piece here over at the California Post or the New York Post. It says here, U.S. government watchdog has found at least 4 more staffers at the United Nations Palestinian Refugee Aid Agency kidnapped Israelis and aided Hamas terror attack on October 7, 2023. Information that is likely to feed into a federal criminal probe, sources told the Post. USAID Office of Inspector General, in an April 30th investigative summary, cited, quote, 4 additional current former staff and UN Relief Workers Agency for Palestinian refugees, 3 of whom were teachers and 1 of whom was a social worker. The unnamed staffers were alleged to have participated in the holding of civilian hostages kidnapped from Israel and or terrorist activities in Israel on October 7, 2023. And here's an image, if you're watching it here. This is an image. They're identifying exactly who these folks were. And they've even got the vehicles, the UN vehicles here, right? Where they're actually basically putting them in the vehicles in order to kidnap them. The reason why this is an important story is because these are the folks who, all of the observers, all of the aid agencies who report a bunch of the stuff and lie on Israel and lie on the United States, they all work for UNRWA. The ones to whom they want us to force us to give the aid to, so that they can drive it in and then hand it over to Hamas. You see here, they're clearly working with Hamas. So when we say you can't trust these organizations or you can't trust the United Nations, this is evidence of that.
I'd like to be clear, Craig. That is not working with Hamas. That is Hamas. That's what.
There you go.
That's it. They got 2 ID cards in their pocket. One that says UNRWA, one that says Hamas. All right. And I would take this information, put it in a nice little digital file, right, and hand it to Bibi Netanyahu, and just leave it on his desk. I don't think this problem will be around for more than a week. You got plenty of special ops snipers that need to train daily. This won't be a hard problem to solve.
My only reason why I'm glad they brought it up for us is because it's one more reason not to send them money. It's one more reason to cut off the spigot.
I can't wait to be at the next UN General Council meeting. Watch that one go down.
Oh, well, when you consider the fact that the UN General Council includes Russia, includes China, includes a bunch of other folks who support terrorism, who support oppression, who support tyranny, it ain't going to
listen, nothing's going to happen, right? But I would love to be there for the U.S. ambassador to the UN to go and take a look at your monitors right now, and I'd like to show you a little video of the UN at work.
Exactly. No, I'm still a fan of the idea. It's time to just end the United Nations, or at the very least, defund them. Time to use eminent domain, take their property back, kick them out of New York, withdraw all of their visas, kick them out of the country, and say bye-bye.
It's time to start an organization. Listen, we did it before, right? We had an agency before the UN, right? And then we created the UN after that. Because remember, we had the what was the name of the agency that we had with the Treaty of Versailles? It was worthless.
Worthless too. But
the pre-UN UN. I can't remember what their name was. But,
I don't remember what the name of it was.
Drawing a blank. Listen, the UN has become the thing that the UN was created to stop. Okay, yes. That's what we have going on here, right? So it is time to scratch the charter, throw them out, and start again. That's what you do.
I can't think of anything else that's worth doing other than get rid of it, and start it with free organizations that are interested in. I'm not saying you have to be a democracy, but you definitely can't be a sponsor of global terrorism. You can't be a global terrorist yourself. right?
League of Nations. It was the League of Nations
League
prior
of
to that.
Nations. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you to my
Look at you,
crack intern staff.
There you go. Mhm. Right. Crack intern staff. Google. Name Google.
Yeah. Right in my ear, they put it in.
There you go. Right.
Mike,
There
it's
you
League
go.
of Nations. There you go. Thank you.
League of
Thank you.
Nations.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Moving right along, gun rights groups challenge California open carry ban. Now, this is interesting because California, we've pretty much turned into we're supposed to be a shall issue state when it comes to concealed carry. But we also have various municipalities who've made it they make it as challenging and as expensive as possible for you to be able to get a concealed carry permit. But you do have, now we have people also going after their ban on open carry. And this is a piece I found over at AOL.com. It says here.
Where?
Over at AOL. It's
where?
At AOL. AOL News. AOL News.
Did you have to dial up to get this information?
Yes, it said you have mail. You have gun news. Gun rights groups challenge California's open carry ban on the Ninth Circuit. A coalition of major firearms advocacy organizations filed a legal brief Tuesday urging the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit to strike down California's restrictions on the open carry of firearms. Second Amendment Foundation, the California Rifle and Pistol Association, and several other groups submitted friend of the court brief in the case of Baird v. Bonta. The groups argue that the plain text of the Second Amendment and centuries of American history protect the right to carry a weapon openly in public. The brief focuses heavily on the Bruin test, a legal standard established by the Supreme Court in 2022. This standard requires the government to prove that any gun regulation is consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. And Mike, I do believe they're going to have a really, really good case because, I mean, way back then, historically, I mean, concealed carry was not was not a thing. I mean, I want to say it wasn't a thing because people did conceal carry, but it was considered sneaky. It was less accepted than open carry. So, I mean, if we're looking at tradition, I got a feeling that now the one thing they are going to look at is because you did have some cities, some towns like
Tombs
band that did actually have open carry bans or all sorts of carry bans. And I'm just wondering, I don't know, what do you think about all that?
Well, listen, it's the case sounds like it's got merit, but however, Craig, until either California does away with and all elected officials, the immunity clause for elected officials, or you create a preemption statute like Pennsylvania is in the process of doing now, it means nothing because the moment the decision comes down, California is just going to pass a new set of laws and start the clock all over again on another 5 or 10 year process for a newly created unconstitutional law.
Now, I wonder if the Supreme Court can actually just rule, as a part of their ruling state that, look, we've made it very clear that this is constitutional. Any court that makes a decision otherwise, they're going to lose. They're going to, or any elected official that pushes a law, they're going to lose their immunity or should lose their immunity.
Now, I don't know if they can lose their immunity. We've had this discussion many times, and it's the Barlow case from 1980. It actually stemmed from immunity from Clinton, or excuse me, Nixon's aides during the Watergate days. But I don't know if they'll be able to do that. But what they can do, Craig, is say you violated this law. Here's a notice to appear, and the marshals are going to escort you to the Supreme Court and ask you why you did this.
Yeah. I guess just I'm like at a certain point though, it's like, by definition, have they violated their oath of office?
And see, that's the semantics of this, right? That's the semantics of this. That the immunity allows them to do whatever they want, right? Under qualified immunity, like law enforcement has. Right. You could do you as long as you don't violate the Constitution, a civil right, or break the law, then you're immune. However, elected officials have absolute immunity, which means as long as it's in the performance of business of their job, they could do okay. They can't go out and shoot somebody for no reason, but if they say I passed this
Well-
law because I think it's the right thing to do, they're immune. So I think
that's got to change. That's
Yeah.
got to change because you have folks in like the former chair of the California
Yeah.
Assembly Public Safety Committee. They said we don't do the Constitution here.
right, and it won't change, Craig, without something serious going to have bigger than we've ever seen before, because the only ones that could change it are judges or the U.S. Congress, and they're not going to take away their own protections.
No, and that's I see so many politicians who flat out ignore the law. They flat out ignore the Constitution because they can get away with it, and it's despicable.
I mean, it's going to have to come down to like a constitutional amendment kind of thing, and you know what that would take. So,
Yeah. Well, the Constitution being a living, breathing document.
Yeah.
I'm winking my eye for those of you who think I'm.
it's a living,
Yeah.
breathing document.
No, it's not. It's a piece of paper. Anyway.
You could make additions to it. You just,
Yes.
yeah.
I hear you. All right, now this is an interesting one because we have a left-wing leader who, by the way, all this left-wing leader is saying, all they're doing is saying out loud what many on the left believe.
Linwood is the most diverse city in all of Snohomish County. And to me, a pride flag is way more relatable than an American flag. I would not raise an American flag at my house because I wouldn't. I wasn't even born here. But I would raise a pride flag. And as the most diverse city in all of Snohomish County, I don't think that I'm the only one who would maybe choose to have 27 other flags in Flag Park.
So, in other words, you have a left-wing local leader who is by the way, she was torched after griping about the American flag, right? And basically saying she's pushing a more relatable flag, and the one she's pushing in particular is the pride flag. It says here, a Washington City councilwoman said she would rather fly a pride flag than the American flag, while questioning why local park displays 27 versions of the U.S. flag, some of which she said represent parts of American history that are, quote, not great. Quote, to me, the pride flag is way more relatable than an American flag. I would not raise an American flag at my house because I wouldn't. I wasn't even born here. But I would raise a pride flag, said Linwood Council member Isabel Mata on Monday. As the most diverse city in Snohomish. Anyway, Snohomish County.
Yeah.
I would think I'm not the only one. Now, first of all, where is that county at? Oh, it's in Washington. Anyway.
Yeah, just outside of the Seattle area.
Okay. Mata, who identifies as queer, neurodivergent writer, advocate, and mindfulness meditation teacher. Wow. Okay. In her government biography, suggested replacing the flags with commemorative ones in an effort to be more inclusive while downplaying the symbolism of the American flag. Now, Mike, I got to say this. I'm thinking to myself, the very fact that she can claim all of that stuff and denigrate the flag of our country is the reason why they ought to be flying the American flag. Because let's see, there are a lot of flags that you couldn't make those sorts of comments about.
That's right.
And still, and not only not be in elective office, but definitely not be in jail.
Listen, I know she identifies as a queer Tyrannosaurus Rex or whatever the hell she said she is, but the rest of us identify her as an idiot, right? I also find it unfair that she gets to have her political slogan there in front of her. It says MATA, Make America Terrible Again. That's unfair. I think the rest of them should be able to put their own political slogans in front of her.
Wow. You called her, what did you call her? A queer Tyrannosaurus Rex?
She had some ridiculous stuff up there.
Oh, Jesus. Come on now. Look, I know there are some of y'all out there on the left who recognize the absurdity of this. There's a reason why Bill Maher, who is an avowed leftist, is not on your side anymore. There's a reason why Joe Rogan, who is an avowed leftist, is not on your side. There's a reason why Elon Musk, who once again, he's probably more centrist, but still has always been on the left, is not on your side anymore. You've jumped the shark.
Yeah. All three very libertarian interviews. Yeah.
But Bill Maher's not libertarian. He is liberal, but he's not a Marxist liberal.
Well, as to coin a phrase I heard recently, he's not a gun-toting liberal. You know, he's not a powerful liberal. He's just a liberal. You know?
There you go.
Regular liberal, not a gun-toting
regular
liberal.
Not one of them Nazi liberals.
Not one of them Nazis. I did not see that coming.
They only do Nazi liberals in Maine, I guess.
It's a weird place, bro. It's a weird place up there. Yeah.
I just love how everybody's like, you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi. But the guy with the Nazi tattoo is not a Nazi.
No, that guy's not a Nazi. No.
Okay. And but he covered. I'm like, wait, dude. He was 5 months into his campaign before he decided to cover up his Nazi tattoo. And he had that tattoo, and y'all didn't say nothing about it. When it was pointed out that he had it, y'all didn't say nothing about it.
They're like, oh, that's the ancient Aztec representation that meant peace.
No, that's Nazi. Which, by the way, just for y'all know, those of you who call yourself socialists, remember, it was the National Socialist Party. That was the Nazi party.
That's right.
Not saying, just saying.
There you go.
All right, folks. That brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word, and get your Hog Holster today. All right, you guys heard that. By the way, all three of our parting shots are being brought to you by the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. You guys heard about the new note, the suicide note, the Epstein suicide note that all of a sudden miraculously appeared. Well, it appears, according to the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust, weird Epstein suicide note printed on Clinton's personal stationery.
So I've been watching this on the local news here, Craig, and listening.
Right.
They're not allowed to say suicide on TV here or on the radio. So they say, like, they're talking about it like this. They're saying, now from the Epstein suicide note,
they're not allowed to say suicide.
No, so they're going, well, welcome. We're talking about the Epstein suicide note.
Is it because they don't want to acknowledge that he committed suicide, or that they don't know that he committed suicide, so they don't want to say he committed suicide, or they just don't want the word suicide said on
I don't know, but they're literally doing the we're here to talk about the suicide of Epstein and the suicide note that he left.
Okay, alrighty then. All right. Oh, here's another one. This is a fun one. Dr. Fauci reports amazing results on gain of function research at new cruise ship laboratory.
They can fix the problem on that cruise ship, Craig, if they get out to sea and then everybody just gets 6 feet apart. They'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they should just wear masks.
Like scuba masks, because 6 feet apart will put them in the water.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, here's another one. You'll love this one. California threatens to send more of its citizens to other states if they don't give in to its demands.
Yeah, I don't think California has to worry about his people leaving under orders. They're leaving voluntarily.
Yeah. The problem is that a lot of the folks leaving California, and I always say this, they fail to recognize that they're the reason they are leaving is because they can no longer experience the American dream in California. And there's a reason for that. And it ain't just dumb luck. It's California policy, California politics. If you go someplace like Florida, like Arizona, like Nevada, like Texas, and you elect the same people you were electing in California, you're just screwing it up for the next generation.
We're okay in Florida because when they come here and try that stuff from California, they have to go to a special camp first.
Is that the one with the gators?
It's a little re-education center, we'll call it.
Re-education center. I like that. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, hey, now we're at the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hi to our good friends at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Talk to the guys there today. They got all kinds of specials going on. Check them out. They got rifle barrels, pistol barrels, shotgun barrels, whatever you want. They got it. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, whatever you want, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. Once again, please take a moment, visit our sponsors, let them know that the guys over at the Rundown sent you. And with that, we're done for today. We got one more day this week, folks, and that's going to be tomorrow. That's going to be, well, thank God it is Friday. Free for all Friday. We're going to have a good old time. Would love to hear from y'all. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. We'll be back mañana. Till then, y'all have fun. Stay safe.